Most people forget a compliment within minutes but remember an insult for years. They are like garbage collectors who still carry the insult given to them 20 years ago. Sometimes being happy can be pretty difficult. It is necessary to live happily, to search for beauty and goodness. One sees the beauty of the landscape. The other sees the dirt on the window. Abraham Lincoln said, "Most people are about as happy as they expect." It is not what happens to us in life that determines our happiness, but rather how we react to those events. Consider a person who has just lost his job. This person may take this as a good omen. An issue can lead to a new situation for a unique job experience, discovering new capabilities, and testing his independence in the work environment. In similar circumstances, his brother might decide to throw himself off a 20-story building and end his life. Therefore, facing the same situation, one may be happy, and the other may commit suicide. One sees misery, and the other sees new situations and opportunities. Being happy is not always easy. Being happy can be one of our biggest struggles at this stage. Sometimes it can undermine all the perseverance, self-discipline, and resolutions we have made for ourselves. The meaning of maturity is accepting responsibility for one's happiness and focusing on what one has. Since man chooses his thoughts and opinions, he necessarily determines his happiness. To be happy, we must focus on happy thoughts. But we often do the opposite. We often ignore compliments, but we keep unpleasant words in our minds for a long time. Most people forget a compliment within minutes but remember an insult for years. They are like garbage collectors who still carry the insult done to them 20 years ago. One of the world's great psychologists says, "I remember, I was 25 years old when I woke up one morning and said to myself, 'You have been sad enough until today. If you decide to be truly happy one day in your life, why don't you start now?' I decided to be much happier that day than before, and it worked. Later, I asked other happy people, 'How did you achieve these joys?' In all cases, their answers exactly reflected my own experience. They said, 'We had suffered enough misery and pain and loneliness, and we decided to change this situation.'" Sometimes being happy can be pretty difficult. It is necessary to live happily, to search for beauty and goodness. One sees the beauty of the landscape. The other sees the dirt on the window. It is you who choose what to see and what to think. Kazantzakis said, "Pen and paint are at your disposal. Paint heaven, and then enter it." The cause of human sadness is that life is not how he wanted it to be. Life does not match his ideals and, as a result, makes him sad and depressed. We say, "I will be happy when these things happen." But we must know that life has both happiness and joy and deprivation and helplessness. Life is sometimes to achieve the goal and sometimes to stay away from it. So, until we say, "I will be happy when these things happen," only we have deceived ourselves. Being happy is a decision. Many people live as if one day they will finally reach happiness, like someone who arrives at a station and says, "I have finally arrived here." This is happiness. And that is why their life story is one of the same patterns. They are saying, "I'll be happy when that happens." But this will never happen. The world is not perfect, and the level of our unhappiness is directly related to the distance between the reality of our lives and our ideals. Happiness is easier to achieve if we don't expect perfection. Let's not forget that happiness is one of the human needs. In psychology, joy increases the labor force and its efficiency. In today's world, which is dominated by thought and rationality, arrangements have been made to create happiness and joy in people's work and life environment. Let's look at ourselves. Haven't we seen how happy people positively affect others? Everyone knows that happy people live longer. In the words of a scientist, all the medical and health systems of the world have found that happiness is the most effective factor for the healing of patients, and there is no doubt that there is a close relationship between happiness and well-being. Many people want to be happy but don't know what to do. That's why we must first get to see the source of happiness. An important source of joy is our mental attitude. That is, how we look at life and the type of judgment that affects our happiness. When we put everything in our thinking frame and measure it with our standards and often reject people and give ourselves a passing grade, we get into a bad mood. Because we dislike everyone, we can't raise our spirits. But how do you know that others don't think better than us? How do you know that the behavior of others is not better than us? Why do we deprive ourselves of happiness because others don't think like us? Let's take a look at the factors that contribute to our happiness. 1. Reconciliation with yourself. Reconciliation with yourself means to see and recognize the beauty inside us. Reconcile with our body and spirit to achieve inner happiness. 2. Forgiving people. Forgiving ourselves and others can create happiness for us. 3. Choosing a good friend. A good friend makes us happy. Just as yawning is contagious, so is depression. Hang out with happy people so you will be happy because of their happiness. At the same time, know that you don't need a big reason and excellent conditions to be happy. Happiness means enjoying very, very small things. You can be happy, provided you want to. 4. Forgetting unpleasant memories. One of the important reasons for feeling sad is the bitter memories near and far. The more you recall those memories, the less happiness you will experience. 5. Exercise. The relationship between happiness and exercise is also very clear. 6. Taking a shower. Take a lukewarm shower in winter and a cool shower in summer. Water, like nature, brings vitality to the body. Haven't you experienced how good you feel when you get out of the shower? 7. After you take a shower, take a soul bath. Sit quietly in a corner for a few minutes and eliminate your mental toxins. You should also know that there are obstacles to being happy. Negativity and choosing the death instinct instead of the life instinct are important obstacles to being happy and living happily. Revenge, grudge, and worry about the future are the killers of joy and happiness. When we are perfectionists, we rarely see the face of happiness. Guilt robs us of joy. To be able to smile and laugh, we must first be happy ourselves. To be happy, we must have a healthy relationship with ourselves. That means we should be satisfied with ourselves. We must be aware of the words we choose and speak with ourselves and others to be polite and wise. Let's say everything in such a way that no one is offended. Intelligence and wisdom make us have the subtleties of speech that is very much noticed by others. Know this. The purpose of our life is to seek happiness. Common sense seems to tell us so. But aren't people who want happiness only for themselves selfish? Repeated studies have shown that sad people focus more on themselves and often withdraw from society, withdraw into themselves, and are against everyone. Happy people, on the contrary, are usually more sociable, more flexible, and more creative and can tolerate their daily problems more easily. Most importantly, they are more loving and forgiving. Let's look at happiness from another point of view. Have you ever thought about the effects and benefits of happiness? Did you know that happiness, like all medicines in the world, is a healer, except that it has no side effects? Scientists have found that happiness strengthens the immune system. Sad people usually suffer from the malfunction of the digestive system and are regularly exposed to microbial and viral infections. Joy strengthens the human nervous system and prevents depression. Have you ever seen a happy person with a sweet smile on his face and at the same time saying, "My nerves are very weak"? You may not believe it, but happiness is directly related to the skin's clarity, the eyes' shine, and the hair's strength. It has been observed in many cases that hair loss has occurred due to extreme sadness or stress. And finally, happiness makes the family environment warm and pleasant. Family counselors and psychologists have found that successful and intelligent children will grow up in homes where laughter and joy can be heard. A friendly and intimate environment prevents young people from running away from home and employees from leaving the workplace. Children can take care of their main tasks, one of which is studying, with peace of mind. In these types of families, the shadow of divorce does not fall on the family members, and there is peace of mind in the existence of all its members. We postpone our happiness when we spend it preparing for the future instead of enjoying every moment of life. We lose our ability to experience and enjoy the present. So, when we have a chance to be happy, we lose it. Therefore, it is not surprising that we cannot create pure moments and enjoy their experience. We focus on quantity, not quality. Continuous activity is more attractive to us than enjoying the same activity. We often judge ourselves and others based on our achievements rather than our true character. Since World War II, we have become wildly consumerist. We want to get as much as we can as fast as possible. We think that the key to our happiness is success in acquiring financial assets. We say to ourselves that if we have a certain car, house, tool, or desired job, we have reached our goal. And if their model is higher than the neighbors, or if we have a higher position, then we are successful. In our minds, those who have the most possessions are our heroes. Our mental values are based on material things. Our goal is to have and get instead of living. This consumerism mentality has inevitably caused us to postpone our happiness skillfully. Delaying happiness means that to be happy, certain conditions must be present. We think that I will be happy if I find a suitable wife. If I lose 10 kilos, I will be happy. I will be happy to have an independent job. Finally, if my boss agrees to promote me, I will be happy. We believe that we will finally be happy one day. And finally, what we thought would make us happy comes. We finish our education, lose weight, start our independent business, and buy the house we want. Then we wait for our whole being to be filled with happiness, but it doesn't happen. In this case, we may be satisfied, but we are not happy. It is very easy to be happy and lives happily. Happiness can be obtained even from pain and suffering. We are always searching for happiness and escape from suffering and unhappiness. However, hardship is necessary for a healthy life. Undoubtedly, we prefer to learn the joy and teach it to others, but denying the value inherent in pain and suffering is a big mistake. Although it is not right to go after grief and sorrow, suffering must be experienced, held, and released. Not running away from negative experiences, not running away from negative people, and learning from them are understanding factors that leave a beneficial effect on our current situation. To be proud of being a human being, to accept failures and shortcomings and feelings of loneliness and failures as the realities of life and make them a source of satisfaction. Respecting oneself and accepting oneself with all the shortcomings and weaknesses pleasure a person. It gives him the belief to accept himself. The concept of being human is to have weaknesses and strengths, to hit the wall, to be forgetful, to lead from a wrong place, and to realize our mistakes. Many people reach the time of death without having lived. These people have never done anything. No issue has ever affected them strongly. They have rarely laughed or cried. They have not felt despair because they have continuously denied emotions and have lived in a world that never has an external existence and is nothing but an illusion. My friends, one of the ways to be happy is to smile. A smile creates happiness in the home and goodwill in the business. A smile makes the recipient rich without impoverishing the giver. The chairman of the board of directors of one of the largest rubber companies said that experience has proven that a person can rarely succeed in something unless he has fun doing it. He said he does not believe in this old advice. Hard work is the only key that opens the door to our dreams and desires. He says, I know people who became successful because they loved their work and enjoyed doing it. Later, I met the same people again at another time when they went to another job that they only looked at as a duty. As a result, that job became boring for them, and because they no longer enjoyed doing it, they faced failure. Smiling is an easy and fantastic way to express inner emotions and can leave a deep impression on the audience. A smile is like a sun that can illuminate a whole day and sometimes a whole life. Try smiling in the elevator. It is an exciting experiment. Get on the elevator, and then instead of looking at your feet, face people face to face and smile. This disarms them. If your smile is long enough, they might even ask themselves, what made this person so happy? But in most cases, your smile is answered, and the result is that not only have you made a day in a person's life a little sweeter, but you have also made your own life a little sweeter on that day.